Hello, dear viewers. We're back with another chilling tale. Are you ready to dive into the unsettling depths of the human mind? If you're a fan of our content, remember to hit the like button, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. We love hearing from you, and your support helps us create more spine-tingling content just like this. So buckle up, because we're about to delve into a story that's sure to keep you up at night. Let's get started with our story for today. The unsettling tale of the Russian sleep experiment. Have you ever wondered what would happen if you were deprived of sleep for an extended period? It's an unnerving thought, isn't it? Sleep, after all, is as vital to our survival as air, water, and food. But what if I told you that the quest to understand the essence of sleep led to one of the most chilling experiments in human history? In the annals of sleep studies, one name stands out, shrouded in obscurity and dread: the Russian sleep experiment. But what was this experiment? What did it entail? And more importantly, what were its horrifying outcomes? The answers to these questions lie buried in the shadows of a time long past, waiting to be unearthed. The story we are about to delve into is not for the faint of heart. It's a tale of science pushed to its limits, of humanity tested beyond comprehension. Prepare to journey into the unsettling depths of the human mind with the Russian sleep experiment. In the late 1940s, Russian researchers embarked on a daring experiment. An era brimming with curiosity and the thirst for knowledge, it was a time when the boundaries of science were constantly being pushed, often with reckless disregard for ethical considerations. In a secluded laboratory nestled deep within the heart of Moscow, a group of researchers began an audacious experiment. Their subjects? 5 prison inmates, chosen for their mental fortitude and physical strength. These men were not ordinary criminals. They were hardened, resilient, and ready to endure the unknown for a tantalizing promise: freedom. But freedom comes at a price, and in this case the currency was sleep. This was no ordinary deprivation, however. The researchers intended to keep the inmates awake for 15 consecutive days using a mysterious experimental gas known only to a select few. The gas was believed to suppress the need for sleep, allowing the subjects to remain conscious indefinitely. As the experiment commenced, the researchers watched with bated breath. Their initial observations were unremarkable. The subjects behaved as expected, displaying signs of fatigue, irritability, and discomfort. Yet they persevered, driven by the promise of liberty. The researchers, on the other hand, observed with keen interest, noting every twitch, every grimace, and every muttered complaint. Their expectations were high. They had dreams of revolutionizing the understanding of human consciousness, of pushing the limits of endurance, and of redefining the boundaries of human capability. This was, after all, an era of groundbreaking discoveries and audacious experiments. The researchers were not naive. They knew the risks involved. They were aware of the potential for disaster, for unforeseen consequences, for the unknown. Yet they persisted, driven by curiosity, by ambition, and by the tantalizing promise of scientific breakthrough. Little did they know they were on the brink of uncovering something truly chilling. The stage was set, the players in position, and a chilling tale of horror and madness was about to unfold. As the days passed, the subjects began to exhibit alarming changes. As we ventured into the 5th day of the experiment, a palpable shift had begun to take root within the confines of the chamber. The subjects, once lively and vibrant, were now the bearers of an unsettling paranoia. Their conversations, initially filled with camaraderie and jest, had devolved into hushed whispers of suspicion. Every glance was charged with distrust, every interaction tainted with an undercurrent of fear. The loss of their sense of self became increasingly evident as the days rolled on. The once distinct personalities had merged into a single entity of fear and paranoia. They began to lose track of their individual identities, their conversations devoid of personal pronouns. They were no longer separate beings, but a single organism, writhing in the grip of a collective madness. As the 10th day dawned, the psychological effects of the experiment had grown disturbingly palpable. The subjects were now entrenched in a realm of the mind that bore no semblance to sanity. Their laughter echoed through the chamber, a chilling symphony of derangement that bore witness to their descent into madness. Their eyes, once windows to their souls, were now vacant, devoid of the spark of humanity that had once dwelled within. The researchers, watching from behind the safety of their observation deck, were gripped with a growing sense of dread. The joviality that had once accompanied their scientific curiosity had been replaced with a morbid fascination. The transformation they were witnessing was beyond anything they had anticipated. The realization dawned upon them that they had ventured too far into the abyss of the human psyche. The line between curiosity and madness had been irrevocably blurred. And then, suddenly, on the 15th day, everything went silent. What the researchers found when they opened the chamber was beyond their wildest nightmares. Imagine a scene from the darkest corners of a horror film, and yet it pales in comparison to the horror that met the eyes of the scientists. The chamber, once a sterile, controlled environment, had transformed into a gruesome tableau of human suffering. The once lively subjects were now grotesque parodies of life, their bodies twisted and mangled in ways that defied human anatomy. Their skin was stretched thin over skeletal frames, their eyes wide and vacant. Yet despite their horrific state, an eerie calmness radiated from them. It was as if they had found peace in their torment, a tranquility forged in the crucible of their self-inflicted suffering. But the truly terrifying part wasn't their physical state, it was their mental state, their strange serenity in the face of such horror that sent chills down the spines of the observers. The subjects were not only alive, they were aware. Their lucidity was a stark contrast to their physical deterioration. They had no desire to leave the chamber that had become their hellish sanctuary. They pleaded no, insisted to be kept awake. They rejected the mercy of sleep, the sweet release of unconsciousness. Somehow, in their twisted minds, they had come to view sleep as the enemy, the very thing they had to resist at all costs. Their pleas were not of desperation, but of conviction. They spoke with the certainty of those who had seen the abyss and chose to dance on its edge. The researchers could barely contain their horror. They had expected to push the boundaries of human endurance. They had hoped to unlock the secrets of the human mind. Instead, they had opened Pandora's box. They had peered into the darkness of the human psyche and found something that terrified them. They had not just crossed a line, they had obliterated it. It was a chilling reminder of the danger of unchecked ambition, of the monstrous things that can be unleashed when we meddle with the natural order. In their quest for knowledge, the researchers had unleashed something monstrous. In the face of such terror, the researchers had to make a choice. As the sun set on the 15th day of the experiment, the corridor outside the chamber was filled with an eerie silence, punctuated only by the subjects' violent outbursts. Their resistance was fierce, almost as if they were no longer human, but primal beasts fighting for survival. They fought with a rage that was both terrifying and pitiful, bearing witness to the depths of insanity the human mind could plunge into when deprived of sleep. In the ensuing chaos, several researchers lost their lives, their screams echoing through the sterile walls of the laboratory. Their sacrifice would forever remain a grim reminder of the dangerous line they had crossed in the pursuit of knowledge. Among the subjects, only one survived the bloody melee, his eyes wide and frantic, a ghastly parody of the man he once was. His chilling words would haunt the remaining researchers for the rest of their lives. He spoke of a darkness that dwells within every human mind, a darkness that only emerges when the conscious mind is silenced through sleep. He claimed that they had not lost their minds, but rather discovered a new, terrifying aspect of human consciousness. His revelations sparked a heated debate among the surviving researchers. Some argued that the results were skewed by the extreme conditions, while others insisted that they had uncovered a fundamental, albeit horrifying, truth about the human mind. Regardless of their conclusions, they all agreed on one thing: the experiment had to end. And so, with heavy hearts and trembling hands, they terminated the experiment, putting an end to the unimaginable suffering they had caused. They watched as the last subject breathed his final breath, his eyes wide open, staring into the abyss that had consumed his sanity. Thus ended the Russian sleep experiment, leaving behind a chilling legacy of the human mind's dark potential when sleep is denied. The Russian sleep experiment remains shrouded in mystery and horror. In the aftermath, it left an indelible mark on the field of psychology, casting a long, chilling shadow over the ethical boundaries of scientific experimentation. The grotesque results of the experiment, the sheer terror it induced, only serve to underscore the dangerous precipice at which we stand when we dare to push the human mind beyond its natural limits. This experiment has carved its place in the annals of scientific and horror folklore, a grim reminder of the fragile nature of sanity, the delicate balance of our consciousness. It has challenged our understanding of sleep, that seemingly benign state of rest, revealing it as a critical necessity for our survival. As we bid you goodnight, remember, sleep is not just a luxury, but a necessity. Until next time, sleep well. Thank you for joining us on this chilling journey into the depths of human psychology and the macabre corners of science. Your engagement, your likes, comments and subscriptions truly mean the world to us. They fuel our passion for uncovering and sharing these unsettling, often horrifying, yet undeniably fascinating stories from the past and the present. So, if you've enjoyed this journey as much as we have, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. Share your thoughts, your own interpretations, or other stories you'd like us to explore. If you're thirsty for more spine-tingling tales, we invite you to check out our playlist. It's a collection of stories that will keep you on the edge of your seat, your heart pounding, and your mind questioning the world around you. Until our paths cross again in the shadowy realm of the unknown, stay curious, keep exploring, and above all, sleep well.